What is going on, guys? What is going on? I'm Jay the Black. Salute to everyone tuning in. I gotta talk about Jaye Taylor. Reportedly, she's been fired, and 3 shows from FS1 have been canceled. These are shows including the one that she worked on with Emmanuel Acho. I think Craig Cartman had his show canceled. And this is part of a larger shakeup at FS1. We know FS1 has been struggling as a whole. That's why you've seen so many lineup changes. You've seen so many people leave, like Skip Bayless and others. And I think also there was the lawsuit as well. But the one thing I'm looking at this is that, Jaye Taylor, because this video is about Jaye. Jaye Taylor went on a media campaign recently for what, I don't know, maybe her next career move, because I think she knew the writing was on the wall. She knew she was cooked, and she knew it was over. The show that she was on, poor viewership, no matter who they put on there, Paul Pierce, Keyshawn Johnson, it doesn't matter. The show sucked. No one cares. And I just think that Jaye Taylor is just, she was a ratings killer. She was an absolute ratings killer. No one wanted to see her. Nobody wanted to see Jaye Taylor talk about sports. Now, people tune in maybe to look at her, but she has a very nasty attitude. And you could see that nasty attitude when she went on her media campaign talking about men. Because that's all she wanted to talk about was men. She didn't want to talk about that guy who she was sleeping with, who was married, who gave her an opportunity at Fox Sports. But she wants to talk about incels and all these men who treat women wrong. And, she's about 40. She doesn't have a relationship or marriage of her own because she sold out herself in order to have an opportunity to be on TV. But she's no longer on TV. You see, Jaye Taylor, this day was going to come. You were never going to leave that network on your own. They were going to fire you. They had enough. Your show was doing very poor viewership. They didn't want you around. They got rid of the executive who was keeping you employed. And once he was gone, she was gone. And this is why she's going on this media campaign, which I don't really know why, because she doesn't have a personality. Guys like to look at her, but that's about it. She doesn't bring any substance or anything to the table, which is why she's mad at the world. She's blaming men for everything. But you heifer, you got fired because you suck at your job. Well, I guess, one of the jobs. But this is the ultimate karma, because this is a woman who was part of a lawsuit where she disparaged another woman from coming forward about the treatment she was getting from Jaye Taylor's sugar daddy. And Jaye Taylor basically told her, and I'm paraphrasing, to suck it up, This is a woman who claims that she cares about other women, who tries to act like it's the men who are the problem. That's what she talked about on her media campaign. It was always the men, the incels. Well, those incels weren't assaulting, allegedly, your coworker. It was the guy who you were sleeping with. It was that executive you were sleeping with happily, who you even said that you would lie and claim that he assaulted you if he fired you, or if you got fired. This is the type of person that we're talking about here. A person who's not a victim, a person who slept her way to the top. Well, almost. No talent, no skill. Was what, a local radio show personality in South Florida. Went to LA, no connection except for her brother being an NFL player. Then she pops up on TV with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. There were other qualified women, but she got chose because Chuck wanted to reward his side piece. He wanted to reward his side piece. So let's get into this article from awful announcing. Joy Taylor out, 3 shows canceled at FS1 amid yet another daytime lineup shakeup per report. Andrew Marchand reports that Taylor's departure is part of a wider shakeup at FS1 with 3 shows due to be canceled over poor viewership. And this is a heifer that tried to give a football opinion on Aaron Rodgers and got obliterated online. Joy Taylor is reportedly out at FS1. The news via Andrew Marchand at The Atlantic comes after Taylor was named as a defendant in a lawsuit by a former FS1 hairstylist earlier this year. However, Marchand reports that Taylor is out as part of a broader shakeup to the FS1 daytime lineup, which is related to poor ratings. This shakeup will see her show Speak canceled along with 2 other recently launched programs. That was the show that Jason Whitlock built with Marcellus Wiley. And the thing is that Jason Whitlock admitted that the executive, Joy Taylor wanted to be a part, I believe, of Speak. All right. He wasn't for that. Once he leaves FS1, she gets on that show. Taylor has worked at the network for nearly a decade, starting as an anchor for Undisputed and The Herd before transitioning to an analyst role on Speak in 2021. In January, Taylor was a centerpiece of a lawsuit that alleged that she contributed to a hostile work environment and used intimate relationships with men at the company to rise to new jobs. Previous reports indicated Taylor's contract was up this summer, and she denied comment her future with Fox Sports in a recent interview on The Breakfast Club. Since the lawsuit was filed, Taylor hired outside counsel and began negotiating a settlement separate from Fox. The network fired longtime content head Charlie Dixon in April after he was also named in that lawsuit, and another from former host Julie Stewart-Binks, which alleged that Dixon assaulted her. Dixon launched a new look Speak as well as morning show Breakfast Ball and the Faculty last year. These shows sound like they all suck. All 3 shows have now been canceled because these were his shows and they want to get rid of his imprint on that network. Marchand added that some talent may be retained for the new FS1 lineup, highlighting Speak's Keyshawn Johnson and Breakfast Ball's Danny Parkins. In particular, in his report at The Athletic, Marchand also suggested Breakfast Ball's Craig Cartman could be headed back to WFAN, where he hosted morning radio for a decade. Since launching her podcast Too Personal with TNT and Amazon's Taylor Rooks in 2024, Taylor took the show over solo this year. On The Breakfast Club, Taylor stated that the split was purely over Rooks' busy schedule. Yeah, right. Taylor also described her reaction to the lawsuit as grief process, coming to terms with professional relationships that were not what she thought. Of course, because you were basically the star of that lawsuit. And Taylor Rooks left because she did not want your man-hating energy to seep over to her, because Taylor Rooks is very popular with NBA players and, maybe some NFL player, because she does NFL coverage on Amazon. And she doesn't want your energy. Okay. She doesn't want your energy seeping over to her. That's why she left. Big picture, the latest reset for FS1 is not ideal optically for the younger sibling sports network, but not wholly unsurprising. The network has not had a clear vision since it launched a decade ago, and especially since dismissing Shannon Sharp in 2023. It has stars like Johnson, Colin Cowherd, Nick Wright, and the up-and-coming Danny Parkins, but it has largely failed to develop creative and exciting programming. Losing a homegrown talent like Taylor doesn't help those efforts. I think they're way better off. I think there are way more talented women that they could bring to their network. I think Taylor got there based off of her looks and off of who she knew in Blue. Okay? Reportedly. Listen, I have no doubt that she's going to continue to do her podcast. Will she get another opportunity? Where? Who's going to hire her in TV? Especially her being named prominently in a lawsuit. Who's going to hire this heifer? Who's going to hire her? This is why she went on her media tour, because she knew at some point they were probably going to fire her. And this was a firing, people. They let her go. This isn't they decided to separate. No, this was we're removing her from the show. We're getting rid of her now. Okay? We're getting rid of her now. They want people to know that the show that she was on did not do very well in the ratings. That's what they want to embarrass her on the way out. That's what it looks like to me. People are going to say that's not what it is, but I think they wanted to embarrass her on the way out and let people know that, hey, it's her. She's the problem. She's the problem. And she is. She seemed like the type of person who is very vindictive and spiteful, but she's going to have to pick up the pieces on her career and figure it out. Hey, listen, there's always OnlyFans. Okay? I don't see her getting on any type of, I don't see her going to CBS. I don't see her going to ESPN. I don't see her going to the NFL network, the NBA network. I just don't see it. Not to say it won't happen, because these networks are always looking for, they're looking for women who they find appealing to put on their network. Look, Major League Baseball does on their network. The NFL network does it. You know what I'm saying? Have y'all seen NFL network and the women they have on there? So, but I just think they have less baggage than Joy Taylor. Joy Taylor has a lot of baggage, and they don't want to deal with it. They do not want to deal with it. So let me know what you think in the comment section. Let me thoughts if you didn't share it. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, X, Instagram. Check out all the other videos on this channel, and I'll see y'all next one.